Hello everyone, and welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet. Today is November the 18th, 2021, and it really is November the 18th. I say that because you may find I'm a bit scatterbrained today, and I apologize ahead if I don't seem to make sense always, because typically I record these videos a couple days ahead of time to give me time to edit and come up with a thumbnail and write the description and have everything in place to download, excuse me, to download on Thursdays. So this morning I went to download the video and I discovered I hadn't saved it properly and everything was lost. So I had to start all over again and try to recreate what I did a couple of days ago for my video today, because I couldn't miss posting a video for you. So here goes. I'll do my best to recreate what I did the other day. I'm going to leave what I'm wearing and what Hope is wearing to the end of the video. Today, the major part of the video is to tell you about two crochet events, if you want to call them, that are going on right now. And I thought you might want to hear about them. So the first one I'm participating in is called a crochet challenge. I mentioned it last week, and I thought that it started tomorrow. And then I found out when I went looking to get all ready and set up that it started last Friday. So the purpose of the crochet challenge, and this is sponsored by Expression Fiber Arts, is simply to give you a pattern and for us all to work along together at our own speed. We do not have to meet deadlines or anything like that. They have a few dates posted that are dates that they use to do draws for those that have posted pictures for prizes. But you can crochet at your own speed, and you can enter your pictures when you are ready. And it is a 3-week challenge. So they give you 3 weeks to finish this project. And they are using one of their patterns called Duha. And Duha is check for rainbow, they say. They've just finished one in knitting, and now the crocheters are getting their turn. So first of all, I'm going to show you a picture of my progress. I took a picture after I had finished 3 parts. I have only 1 part left to finish. So I'm going to show you that first, as long as I can find it. It's in photos. And I did not use the yarn that they suggested, because I looked at my yarn stash and I did have what they suggested, which was Luster Sport. But I didn't really want to put those colors together, and it requires 7 colors to complete this. So here's a picture of how far I last earlier in the week. I'm trying to show it to you so I don't get all those lights. I have fluorescent lights above me with hot lights in them. So there's my progress to the end of part 3. So I have another 21 rows to do to complete it. It has a total of 84 or 85 rows. Now, I actually have it here, but I have progressed farther than that picture, but I have no way to show you the entire thing because it is so large. So I have it here, and I'm only going to show you along the side because there's no way I can hold it up that you can see the whole thing. So I started with this sort of minty green, and then I went into a variegated that had green and teals, And then this is, it's got a little teal and blue, a deeper blue. And then this has browns, but it also has blues and greens in it. And then a lighter shade of blue. You can see it's not the same color. A lighter shade of blue. And then again, a brown. But this one has, there is a teeny bit of teal in it, but mostly it has pinks or rosy color in it. And finally, I finished it off with the rosy, and I'm getting ready to block it. And then I'll try to take a picture of the entire thing, possibly to show you next week. So the yarn that I am using is still from Expression Fiber Arts, but it is a twisted tweed sport. So these are the colors I use, so you can see. Oh, I forgot to mention that it alternates. See, it alternates between a solid row and an open row. So these colors you use less of, the solids, of course, you use more of. So you can tell which were solids. Here's the first color next to the second color. I might be able to get 3 in the picture at once. And the third color. And we'll let that go. And then, whoops, no, I was wrong. This is the first, second, and third. First, second, and third. See, I told you I'm scatterbrained today. First, second, and third. And then I went into this one. And this one. And then this one. And finished up with this. You can see the balls are different sizes. And there's quite a substantial amount left of each of them. So what I'm going to do, say with the first and the second, I'm going to take these and double strand it. I'll tell you about the yarn in just a minute. I'm going to double strand it. And I've always wanted to make the Just Feel Festive shawl. And when I make it, I will show you and I will link it, but I won't this time. I'm going to put 2 together to make it a little thicker. And when the light green runs out, which it will before this one, then I will put the third color, which was blue, with it and keep going and so on until I get them all used up, hopefully. Unless it gets huge, I may have to shorten what I do. But I am going to make that Just Feel Festive shawl. So the yarn itself, Twisted Tweed Sport, is 42% fine merino wool, 43% superwash merino wool, and 15% Donegal. I don't know what Donegal wool is exactly, and I've never used it before, but I have to tell you that this is nice and soft, and the finished product is very soft as well. So I did start this a day or 2 early, so I had 1 or 2 sections done when they started last Friday, and then I worked on this solidly to finish it off. And it's a very unique shape, almost like a butterfly, which I think I have a picture to show you, in fact. I'm just not up on my game today. The picture's not there, so I'm not going to spend time looking for it. When I finish it, I'll show you a full picture of Shandy holding it up, because mine doesn't look near as nice as what theirs looked like. So that's the one item I've been really working on this last week. And the second item I'm working on is something called the Blue Moon Shawl. And again, I didn't know about this until last week. And I came across it because I received a YouTube video from Moogly. And you may be familiar with Tamara from Moogly. She has a blog with a lot of her patterns free if you don't mind ads in them, but she also sells her patterns. And right now she is working in cooperation with Karen to produce this cowl, crochet along, using their new yarn called Ogo. And I'm pretty sure I have that here somewhere. Blue, Karen, there it is. Blue Moon, Blue Moon. Okay, so this is the shawl. And you see the Ogo there in the center of her shawl. And they have sponsored this. She used 2 Ogos, and she designed this shawl, which last Friday, part 1, 2, and 3 came out. Now I'm going to show you. Here's the shawl laid out flat. And each color change is a section. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors in the first Ogo. And then again, 1, 2, 3, you can barely see them, 4 and 5, because she did use 2. But of course, the farther out you get, the longer it is around, so the thinner the rows. Each Ogo has 502 yards, and she used the whole of 2, so it's 1,000 yards. Now, you can use anything you want to make this, and she is putting out videos last Friday, tomorrow, and again next Friday. So parts 1, 2, and 3 were last week. Tomorrow will be 4, 5, and 6, and the last week will be the last 4, which are much narrower. And it's a free pattern, and in the description box below I will at least put the link to Yarnspiration. I might have put the link to Ravelry where the pattern is. Yes, Ravelry then gives you the link to her blog, and they also give you the link to Yarnspirations. And you can download the pattern for free. Yarnspirations patterns are all free to my knowledge. And what I really liked about this particular pattern or cowl is that it has a chart with it. The chart is about 8 pages long because it hasn't got a regular type of repeat to it, and they chart the whole 54 rows. And I decided, because I knew there wouldn't be any Ogos in my local Michael's store, and that'll be the only place you can probably buy it is at Michael's, because Karen is affiliated with Michael's. So I wanted again to use something from my stash. So I went looking in my balls of 16 to finish something before the end of the year. And I found I really liked the Mirage. And at first I pulled out 5 colors that would work together. And then I got looking at it and I thought, I don't really want to change where she changed colors and have those really thin rows at the end. I think I'd rather have fewer colors and then make it somewhat consistent in the width of the bands. So I reduced it down to 3 colors of Mirage. And on the table when I had my 16 out, this was the color that I had out. And Mirage is, here it is. Mirage is made up of 70% superwash merino, 10% baby camel, 10% cashmere, and 10% mulberry silk. Well, you can imagine how soft this is when it has camel, cashmere, and silk with the merino. And mine is starting to come apart. I'll have to fix that. But it is very, very soft. And it is a sport weight. It's called Mirage Sport. So a little bit thicker, a little bit thicker than the fingering that I am accustomed to working with. I have only done 2 in sport weight. This one and the last one with the twisted tweed, that was a sport as well. And both of these yarns come out of my collection of 16. So I'm getting 2 projects done again from my 16 to get something done by the end of the year. So I decided on, by the way, some have asked, what kind of hook do I use? And I crochet so many hours a day that my hand was starting to cramp in here. And so I had to find something larger. And I absolutely love these Furls Streamline Swirls. This happens to be cookies and cream. And by the way, I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook in this project. The last project I had to use just the plain Furls Streamline. I used a 3.75. But I absolutely love these. I am a pencil grip crocheter, and they're a little heavier in my hand rather than those little metal ones. I can't use them at all anymore. So I love these. They're worth the extra cost to have a good tool to use in my crocheting. So the other colors I'm using are these. These are the 3 colors I'm putting together. And I have started it. I've gotten slightly past her first unit. I'm not breaking the colors where she breaks the colors. I am into my 3rd color. And I went through the chart and just determined how many rows I would do to keep it almost even. For example, I'm doing 8, 8, and 7 of this color. And then later I'll balance it out a bit. So that's how it looks so far. It is a little bit of a challenge in that you don't get a lot of repeating. I got a few rows that repeated in here, and now in this color we're into something different again. But it's all chains, single crochet, and double crochets. There's nothing harder than that. It's just a matter of following the pattern, and for me, following the chart. And if you could become a chart reader, it would make life so much simpler. Just because a lot less words, I get lost in all the words and repeats. So this is much easier to follow. I'm a visual person, so when I see the chart and I see the repeats, it stays with me. So that's what I'm working on for the next week. I expect I can finish this over the weekend. I'm already up to about row 20. Maybe 19, I'm not exactly sure. 16, 17, 18. I'm on row 18 or 19, and it only has 54 rows. So I should have no problem finishing this over the weekend. Then I can get started on another project from my 16. So that's what I'm working on now. And those are the items I wanted to tell you about. So if you go and look up the Blue Moon Shawl on YouTube, I am putting a link down below to her initial video, which describes the cowl. And if you subscribe to her channel, sorry, I said subscribes, describes. She describes the shawl and the cowl in that video. And then if you subscribe to her, you will get the various tutorials as they come out. But you can just go to Yarnspiration, click, search the pattern name, and get the links to her blog and to Yarnspiration and get the whole pattern right up front. It's just that because the tutorials are lengthy and she does 3 each week, she puts them out a little at a time. And a benefit here is she does 3 in the right hand, and she does the same 3 with the left hand. So you left-handers aren't left out. So that's what I wanted to tell you about this week. That was my main purpose. Now, I want to show you a couple of finished objects because you know I'm about finished objects and showing you what I have made. So I'm going to start with what I am wearing. And I am wearing a scarf, what I call fashion scarf, called Morning Light, and the pattern is by C.J. Brady. And you've heard me mention her before, and I will mention her again many times. In fact, I may focus on her for one of my videos. Now I'm going to take this off because I'm going to change to something else. But this is one of her boomerang scarves. So it started up here. And notice it's got a tag on it because this is available in my Facebook business page. And I hope you will take the time sometime to check out my Facebook business page. And it starts at one end. I never know which end, but I think this is the start here. She starts small and it gets big, and her patterns are always good about having nice edges. Not all, but most of them have finished edges. You don't have to do a border later. And it goes down in the boomerang shape. You can see it's quite long on this side, and then she shows you how to decrease along this side. So it's almost a V shape, but she has definitely made it in a boomerang, and I might have made it a little bit longer. The one thing I like about her fashion scarves is a large percent of them are made with one skein. I can't tell you about the yarn for this one. I did warn you ahead that all of the old things that I have stockpiled, I don't remember always the pattern or the yarn that I used. This was a yarn that just came off the shelf, and I didn't make note of what it was at the time because I didn't know I'd be doing this channel. It is very soft, though it must be a merino nylon blend because it feels very nice. And like I said, it's a C.J. Brady pattern called Morning Light, and I will link it in the description box below. Now I'm going to put on another one, and I'll leave this one on. I tried to finish up the projects I had that were in fall colors. Now this one, I'm assuming from the look of it, it might have been done to a pattern, but it is very, very plain. It's a shawl or shawlette. I depending on how much yarn you wanted to use. I just quit at the end of this skein, and I'll show you the yarn in a minute. But it's all double crochets and then rows of skip stitches. Actually, I could have done a V in those spots. I'm not really sure. But down here, again, it's just solid and then open lace work. Solid, open, solid, open. Nothing too complicated or unusual in this pattern. So I don't know if I followed a pattern or if I just made it up as I went. But I cut it off short enough to be able to wear it as a scarf. So this is how I would wear it. And although I'm a cool color person, as you know, blues and purples and whatever, I do love fall colors together like this. And the yarn I used for it, right back here, I had a second skein of it, and it is an Oasis fingering yarn. It says fingering, but in my estimation, it is a little thinner than some of my other fingering yarns. Oasis fingering yarn by Expression Fiber Arts. I have a lot, as I said, this whole cubby is Expression Fiber Arts yarn. And Oasis fingering is 50% superwash merino. No, sorry, 50% camel, Oasis camel, and 50% mulberry silk. So because of the silk, it has a really nice feel. And camel is a very soft fiber as well. And so this is very nice, comfortable, not itchy, and cozy. I I really like the feel of it. I think when I was partway through, I wished I had used two strands together because it is so thin and fine. It is slower going. It's a little thinner, is a little harder to work with, but still, I proceeded to finish it, and I have another ball, and I may very well combine this second ball with something else to make it thicker, and it will go farther that way too. But I'm really happy with these colors. Very nice fall item, but it will go away now until next fall because snow is happening some places in the province now, so I'm sure we're going to get snow soon too. So that's that one. Then let me show you what Hope is wearing. Hope is wearing something called a keyhole, at the carry keyhole scarf. And that's because of the holes along the side so that you can thread the tail of this large asymmetrical triangle. It's an asymmetrical triangle with holes at the end to weave the tail through. Now, it doesn't look too bad on her. It took a while to finagle, but I unfortunately, once again, altered the pattern, and I shouldn't have this time. It made it larger and therefore probably too long at this end of the triangle, and the holes are maybe a little too big, so it does kind of fall apart. If you're making it, my advice is follow the pattern. And the first thing I did wrong was I used a different weight of yarn, and the yarn made it bigger and bulkier, and that's why I went a little longer. I don't know. I was trying to use up a certain amount of yarn. I don't know. I made it a year and a half ago. But I love the colors. Beautiful combination. Beautiful fall colors. Not quite the same as this, but still lovely. And I do believe it is a nice pattern. And I saw it on the Make 9 of a couple. Seta, I think Seta had it on her Make 9. And somebody else. And I really liked it. That's why I went looking for it and I made it. But if I ever make it again, I will follow the instructions better. And it is available in Ravelry, and I have linked it below. So we'll move her out of the way and tell you about the yarn once more. This yarn is Sparkle DK. And I showed you this last week. This Sparkle DK I made a cowl out of. And if you remember, I said I needed two, but I only used one. So the other one was left to make something. And I had actually purchased 4 of these, and the other 2 didn't match. So I thought I hunted this out for this week. This is the other one, and you can see it still has the pink in it, same colors, but a lot more purple in it. And I have 2 skeins in this color tone. So I'll make something that uses those 2 skeins, and I'll find another smaller item to make with this. Sparkle DK, again from Expression Fiber Arts, is 60% superwash merino, 26% nylon, 10% baby alpaca, and 4% metallic. And it is a nice soft yarn. That baby alpaca makes a difference. And they are now, I mentioned last week, they are now making it in the sparkle fingering. And I just received some, so maybe I'll be showing you that sometime soon. So that's what hers is made of. Then finally, one last item, finished item to show you. And again, this is an item that is on my Facebook business page. And another fashion scarf. I'm not going to put this one on. I'm going to leave what I have on. I, again, don't know the yarn. Something off my shelf. but I'll bring it close enough that see the sparkles in it. You know me, I'm drawn to sparkles. I can't pass up a sparkle yarn. So this one is smaller, and it is a V. And again, it is a pattern by C.J. Brady, and it is called Moon Garden. And again, I'll put the link below. It's a very straightforward pattern, and my belief is it was started at one corner, and you increase to the middle, and then you decrease to the other end. And you know, a pattern like this that she says repeat, and she has good repeats, and she often has charts. Not all of her patterns, but she's starting to put all of them in now. Her patterns are a 2 or a 4 row pattern, and then you repeat. So you could, if you had lots of yarn, you could make this much larger. You could just repeat it more times and then do the decrease whatever number of times to get to the other end. So that is another fall colored shawl, a very small shawl, shawlette, or fashion scarf as I like to call them, done with a hand dyed sparkle yarn. I don't know which, and again the pattern will be linked below. So that's all the finished objects I have to show you. I spent so long showing you those other projects that I was working on, and this still is longer than I wanted it to be. So what about next week? I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what I wanted to do next week and changed my mind several times, but I've decided I'm going to start showing you some ponchos. So if you're interested in seeing a number of ponchos, join me again next week. And until then, happy hooking.